Well, after at least 10 years of the most horrendous conditions imaginable, I only put this mask on when I'm basically going to die without it. So yeah, it has suffered the most incredible conditions: burning, cutting, lancing, welding, gouging. It has served me very, very, very well. The most comfortable, user-friendly mask I've basically ever used. So basically, I've been forced to get a new mask because the filter unit, light filter, has given up. That is the second filter. The first filter lasted probably in the region of 10 years. And unfortunately, the second filter is only about 1 year old and it has stopped working. So I may investigate that further. I've changed the batteries. It looks fine. There's no real damage to it. I don't know what's wrong, but I'll investigate that further to see if I can figure out what the problem is. I find this mask so comfortable. The head bracket, or whatever you want to call it, headgear, is ultra comfortable. The fit is perfect. The face seal is comfortable. The pivot friction is absolutely perfect on this mask. The hinge friction is spread evenly across both sides, so it sits nice and level on your head and face. And when you're operating the flip, the mask is nice and rigid. It doesn't really move. The spring force on this, given the springs are probably quite weak on it after 10 plus years, is perfect. You can lift the visor and your face screen stays in place, doesn't move, and a simple nod to your head and that falls down. Absolutely brilliant mask. Can't rate it highly enough. So for anyone who's interested, it's a 3M Speed Glass 9100 FX, and you get them in two different sized filters. I think this is the FXX, if I've got that right. It's the larger one anyway. So it was only natural that I moved on to the newest version. To my knowledge, this is a G5-01, and today is the first day I've used it. So brand spanking new, with literally about an hour's use. This video is very much based on first impressions because I've just used it, as I said, for about an hour. My initial observations are it's quite smart what they've tried to do. They are using the friction lock on one side to hold the entire mask up, and the problem with it being on one side, it's quite springy, so it flaps about. That's true for when you lift your visor up. When you lift that up, because it's working on the friction of one side, the whole mask flexes side to side. It twists a little bit, so you pull this down and the whole mask twists in your head, and you push it up and it twists the other way. I'll probably get used to it, but it just feels sort of bendy, flexy, wiggly compared to this, which is just sits so nice and solid on your head, but is not, it's not stiff to flip up or stiff to flip down. It's just the action of it is beautiful. that's my initial finding so far, is it just feels a bit flaxy, a bit jelly. Now, I know the manufacturers have to try and keep all of these hinges and shell as light as possible to reduce neck strain. So they'll be keeping the material as thin as they can, but again, that contributes to the flax a little bit. Fit is absolutely fantastic. The headgear is lovely and comfortable. The range of adjustment is fab. And the major thing that I really like is this airflow switch, which, depending on how warm or cold you are or what you're doing, you can flick the air from the visor to your face with this little lever. You can see here I actually have it set halfway between. So basically that directs the air onto your face or away from your face, or as I have it currently, half and half. So it's basically a little throttle valve for the airflow onto your face, and it is fab. Some of you guys that spend a long time on these will know you can get dry eyes, or you'll find your lips cracking, which can be painful depending how long you're in these things. Depending on the weather and how much you're sweating and what you're doing, that's a really, really nice feature to have. So the friction screws, not liking them at the moment. They have one on one side, as I said, for the whole body, so that's both screens, and then the other one for just this screen. The one that adjusts this screen flip up force, I actually can't detect any discernible difference from tighten up quite tight, click, and they click, to loosened off, completely loose. It still feels the same, and it's a very, yes, I know the springs are brand new, so they're probably quite strong. When you lift this mask, the whole entire mask wants to flex up on your chin, which I say is quite irritating. Just too much flex. You want this part to stay put on your head nice and rigid as you're flipping this up. What I'm finding myself is having to do is hold this part with one hand and lift this part with the other hand to separate the two movements. Again, the old one is just the action is so nice, so rigid and non-flexy. It's a little bit irritating. The other adjuster, now I could be talking about these, I'm not sure which side is which, but the other adjuster, I don't like it either, because when you flip the whole mask up on your head, it clicks into a plastic detent and it gives a big crack, and you actually think you're breaking something plastic. It feels like you're breaking something plastic, whereas this is a purely non-detent friction setup, and it's just one smooth action, and wherever you stop it, it stays, and there's no clicking and cracking. You just pivot it up onto the top of your head and it stays up there. If it's too loose, you just tighten them up a little bit and there's no clicking or cracking. At the moment, I feel this is a better mask. Now, haven't covered the filter unit on this yet. The controls are nice and clear. Let me see. Large buttons, easy to work with gloves, and a great range of features. And you can also choose between the filter colors as well, if I can get this to focus. And then, incredibly, we have a Bluetooth control. Now, I don't like technology. You have Bluetooth control, but in my life what I find is You download an app, you change your phone gets updated, you lose something's not compatible, or you borrow somebody else's, or your battery goes flat. I don't like too much technology. It's a bit of a fad. So I haven't even bothered my backside to investigate this Bluetooth setup. Maybe ultra user friendly, maybe the greatest thing ever, but I'm just a bit old fashioned for that. So I was using the cutting filter, which is a fab, really nice addition. So you have the shades 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, right down to 5 for cutting, which allows you to use the oxyacetylene or propane or plasma or whatever you're using with the most superb vision. You've all the normal settings for sensitivity, delay time, etc. So I would put the 3M light filters as probably the highest quality on the market. I don't think anyone comes close to them for vision and clarity and contrast. They just seem to have incredible contrast. The other good thing I'll say about this new mask is it appears to be the same consumables on the outside. It makes life so much easier when consumable parts are standardized. You don't want your store to have to keep a million different replaceable lenses for different models as things are changed. Another strange thing I noticed, this filter unit is bigger. It has a bigger viewing area. However, it actually feels smaller. The only thing I can attribute that to is this distance here, that distance there. I think this is slightly closer to your face, so you actually you're actually peering, your viewing angle is different. I like this lens basically touching my nose, and I tell anybody that's using their mask to adjust their headgear to move the mask as close to your nose as possible. It'll give you a wider field of vision through the window, and B, the closer this mask is to the middle of your neck, the less weight moment you have acting on your spine, basically the less spine stress you have on your neck. So I've adjusted this as close to my nose as I can, and it's not as close as this one. This sits out further on your head. Without getting out digital scales, to me that feels a little bit lighter. So it's closer to your nose and it's lighter. To me, that is probably going to result in less neck strain. I'll keep you posted on that. I need to see if I can adjust this any closer to my nose. Other thing about getting it closer to your nose whenever you're in really horrendous close quarters, confined spaces, the closer you can get it to your face, the easier you can get in and maneuver and look and try to do those awful jobs. So again, this mask, it just seems to be a little smaller on the front. It's uglier, I'm going to say it. I like the shape of that better. Another observation, as cool as the little air feed mask is on my old mask, in tight places it would catch on things. It's nice they have tucked all of that well inside this mask, so there's nothing on the side to catch or hook. So I think the new mask wins that vote. So overall, first impressions, a few little niggly things, mostly relating to the operation of the flip, the feel of it, the clicks and the cracks, the friction settings, etc. View, filter, fantastic. comfortable headgear, user friendly, airflow fabulous, but that is still an awesome mask. I'm going to try and fix the filter. I might see about a new plastic for the outside. The really good thing about 3M also is they keep, you can literally buy every single little part for these off their site really easily. So although this is an old mask, you can still get parts for it. So kudos to 3M for providing spares backup. So yeah guys, that's just a little insight to my new air-fed mask. The light's starting to die here, the camera's having trouble focusing. I get a lot of questions about my air-fed mask, and I haven't done a video in a while, so I just thought that would be a good little one for you guys that are interested. I'm not sponsored by anybody. YouTube is rubbish these days for getting sponsorship. I have like 70 million views and I still have to buy all my own gear. But hey ho, I mean, just keep working on getting those views. I guess I'm just not famous enough yet, but anyway, we'll keep plugging away. So I can do completely honest reviews. I'm not constrained by having to give a good review by being given freebies or things like that. So this is a totally honest review of these masks. I'm not belittling 3M. I still think they're the best on the market. They've been one of the biggest companies with the biggest budget, and you can be assured that you are being protected to very high standard compared to questionable Chinese and lesser makes. So I just want to make that clear. I reckon they're still the market leader. So yeah, please don't take me to court, 3M. But yeah, anyway, that's a little reviews. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll hopefully try and get you some content soon. Life is just crazy busy at the moment. I have so much footage in the bank, but can't get time to edit it. But yeah, I'll see what I can do for you guys. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and check out those playlists. There's something for everybody: off-roading, welding, engineering, tractors, you name it, whatever you're interested in. So be sure to have a nosy around my other videos, and usual Facebook, Instagram, all that there. You'll find me, just search Alistair C123. So yeah guys, thanks very much for the support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.